And welcome back to the ASUS ROG Stars Invite Tournament. We're ready for the next match, and we're going to have two awesome players with us. The first one we're going to call is going to be LiquidRet. Give it up for LiquidRet. So Red, how are you feeling this night?
I feel good. I'm very excited to play some good games.
Are you afraid of WhiteRa?
Not really.
That's excellent. And the other one, who we just mentioned already, he's going to be WhiteRa, the Grandpa Toss. And the crowd goes wild. So, are we going to see some special tactics tonight?
We'll see. Red, very dangerous enemy, so no need to risk it.
Great. So if you can shake hands, good sportsmanship, and go take your places, and Apollo and TotalBiscuit will continue from here.
What a fantastic matchup that is. There we go, and I'm looking forward to seeing this one. I think this has probably been the one that I've been looking forward to this entire day, honestly.
I think this is probably the closest series out of all of them we've seen today.
Yeah.
I don't know, Elfie Huck was pretty close too, but this one, I don't even know who's going to win. It can really go either way.
Yeah, it could screw up your predictions. I think you've been right on almost all of them.
Yeah.
In fact, have you got them all so far?
No, I got Show versus Idra wrong. I thought Show was going to edge out the win, but I'm biased.
Team bias. That's why. But
never mind. Though I'm not going to say my prediction. We'll have to wait till after.
Yep.
And it's going to be a good game. Usually these two players are very unique with their styles. They have their own perspective to how the game should play out. Rhett, obviously, the drone king.
Yep, he likes to play the game of drones.
And WhiteRa, on the other hand, has special tactics, of course, but at the same time, he's an extraordinarily greedy Protoss player. He's probably he's the greediest player I've ever seen play Protoss. And I was watching his stream not so long ago, and he played against a Terran who went fast expand, gasless fast expand. WhiteRa takes his third base at 5 minutes. And I was like, you're not playing Zerg, WhiteRa.
That's pretty standard Protoss. And then he takes 3 more bases after that. And they're like, what the hell? How did he even do that? But
I don't know. WhiteRa can do anything.
Yes,
but
he
at
can.
the same time, he's playing against a player that is known for his scouting.
Yes.
And that's the thing with Rhett. He's very drone heavy, but at the same time, he is very overlord heavy. And you'll notice that a lot within his play. Because he sacrifices so many overlords for key information, he always uses the excess minerals he has early game for more overlords.
More overlords, yeah.
And we'll definitely be seeing that out from him here, but it looks like both players are ready to get this underway. The veto maps from WhiteRa, Metalopolis, and Reds. Xel'Naga Caverns, and the first map of today is Antigua Shipyard.
Poor Xel'Naga Caverns.
It has got a lot of hate, this tournament.
Yeah, it really has. Nobody wants to play on Xel'Naga Caverns, as it would turn out. Whatever the case, we are about ready to get started. Antigua Shipyard will be the first map in this series. I have no idea what's going to happen, and that's awesome. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, from the ASUS ROG tournament in the DigiExpo in Helsinki, Finland. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our first contestant in this round of 8 best-of-5 series. He's from Team Liquid. He is one of the best Zerg in the world, without any question. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for LiquidRet. And his opponent, a man that you should never, ever underestimate under any circumstances. Always breaking out something new, always unpredictable, and always an incredibly solid and very well-mannered player. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to bring you, in the red trunks, playing Protoss to the north of the Antigua Shipyard, Thermal takes WhiteRa.
And WhiteRa loves his Forge Fast Expand on every map. Even maps you think that he couldn't pull it off, he does it. And it gives him the option to obviously have a fantastic economy, but at the same time can punish any greedy Zerg players that may try to go hat-trick first. And Red, on the same time, Red is not afraid to go hat-trick first against a Protoss player. Though the probe has arrived this early on, as it is cross-position only, so they know where each other spawn, Rhett is going to have to go spawning pool first here. And on the other hand, seeing the spawning pool first, I suppose that we are going to see WhiteRa go for that early. Actually, I was going to say maybe going for that early forge, but he could go hatchery first here. But it looks like it's just going to be a bit of a late forge at 15 and then followed up. And the way that he usually likes to follow it up is he has a couple of different styles when forge fast expand. It's either 7 gate and +1 attack, some form of timing to punish the drone heavy red, or he'll take a very fast third of his own.
Let's see if he decides to be greedy or if he decides to be aggressive. We'll find out one way or the other. And WhiteRa would like to deny that for as long as possible. Will do so. Down goes the pylon to hold that up for the moment. I would imagine he will cancel that when appropriate.
And the last time these two players actually played against each other, and the only time they played against each other, was online at the MLG Global Invitational that was hosted by JP and Autosis. And WhiteRa won the series quite convincingly with a set of timing attacks, built around the way that Ret likes to play. And that pylon did finish up, which means there is not going to be a very fast expansion here whatsoever. And he's even checking just to make sure that the expansion is not on this right-hand side as well.
Well, Ret's built 4 Zerglings before the 4-minute mark. That's quite unusual for Ret, honestly. Well, there you go. It has been forced. It has to be done. And down goes that pylon to grab that at the appropriate time. And WhiteRa even winning the little bit of fisticuffs that he had with that drone over there and getting out as quickly as possible. And now, you do say that, yeah, they don't meet all that often in StarCraft 2, but they were actually big rivals in StarCraft 1, if I recall correctly.
Yes, of course. They were like two of the best, Protoss and Zerg, respectively, in StarCraft 1. And we see Ret here taking a very fast third at 4 minutes 20. And WhiteRa does not know about it. He will try to get scanning information about it. And meanwhile, he's gone for a second pylon, actually, before the gateway. And so he's really pumping out his probes rather than going for a gateway attack. So I think that the cyber core is naturally delayed because of it. So we'll probably be looking at a fast third from WhiteRa, usually 4-5 gateway and robotics facility, of course, for the observer, then taking that fast third.
Yep, I think the probe will finally go down. A heroic effort there by a little probey friend. He will be remembered. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to scout the third, which is perhaps a little bit important. I think that WhiteRa would assume it, but there is actually another probe going down. WhiteRa has this idea that perhaps sending 2 probes is a good idea. It turns out it is. So he's going to find that third by the looks of it.
Yeah, it basically saves WhiteRa from building a Stargate for defensive purposes, and it also saves him from building a second cannon as well. And he may even save his gas instead of going for a sentry. As we can see, he is going for a Stalker, knowing that he doesn't need a sentry to block any roaches or banelings or lings to come out. So he's going to be able to put a bit of pressure on in the center of the map. Could Overlord snipe as well. And we do have Ret sending a single ling around the map to check for any pylons, any aggressively placed pylons that could lead to any early aggression. Yeah,
generally a good idea. And a single Zealot moving in, and is very disappointed to find that there are no drones there for it to kill. Can have a bit of a stab at that if it so desires, but those Zerglings will pick it off if he's not careful. He knows that, so he's going to back off. Doesn't want 4 Zerglings popping out on top of him, plus any reinforcements. Layer tech coming up right here for Ret.
Yeah, I really like that, what WhiteRa just did. That was actually really big, to send that single Zealot, slap the hatchery, and then return home. Actually did a lot of damage, not to the hatchery, but look at how many lings were forced out of Red in the center of the map.
That's very true.
I mean, usually you'd see a follow-up of a couple of Zealots or Stalker in the center of the map, but everything is going home now. And an Overlord is denied on the left-hand side for Ret by this Stalker, and it will get the kill as well. And there is 3 gateways added onto the center of the map. And he hasn't taken the gases yet, or he's just now taken the 3rd gas on the natural. But I don't think we're going to see a lot. Well, actually, he's thrown down the 4th gateway as well. We may be starting to lean up for a 7th gateway attack.
Yeah, and you never really know with WhiteRa what exactly he's planning on doing there, but yeah, he could get aggressive, honestly. He's forced a lot of lings, and a Roach Warren is out on the way as well. So I have to wonder what his plan is here. He must know about the number of lings that are on the field. It'll be difficult to break out of that. He would have to warp in a pretty significant army and then start to march his way across the map. There's no way he's getting a probe out there. So Red's going to have a lot of warning if he decides to do that.
Well, Red tried to get 2 Overlords in and got 0 scouting information, which kind of pushed WhiteRa down the path of I can do whatever I want and get away with it. And here is this expansion play. There is 5 gateways in total to be safe against any early aggression and to hold a 3rd base while getting the robotics facility up. And oh no, the Zealot doesn't hold it.
Oh, disastrous. Yeah, the sentry is not in position. That's a good ling run by, mostly just to get information, but it will be able to do significant damage here if this is not properly controlled. Able to pick off a probe or 2 here and there, but WhiteRa did pull that back nicely. A quick warp in to respond to that, and now Zealots in the mix trying to slice their way through. They do have +1, so they kill them in 2 hits, which is very nice indeed. And not a lot of mining really denied there, and WhiteRa with a continued warping, but really I think what Ret got from that was a ton of information.
And he's also building a lot more lings as well. I think that he's trying to stop this third base, but not overbuilding units. He has gone back 2 drones, is taking extractors as well. He's on 6 extractors at 10 minutes. He's also gone for a Spire as well. So it looks like we are going to see a Mutalisk come out very, very shortly. There is the Warp Prism coming out. But I don't think that's going to help out too much, especially as these Lings scout that third base. Rhett's going to turn on some pressure.
Yeah, and the Lings, they don't know. He's got to make an assumption. They can't get in there just yet, but he may assume that that's there. But yeah, the amount of pressure that's going to be coming down. Look at the gas count, already at 800 and climbing. By the time that Spire comes out, it will be at 900, almost 1,000 gas, which would be an absurd amount. Immediately able to pump out a lot of Mutas. Here's the follow-up, 9 Mutas to start off with, and the +1 flyer attack upgrade. In the meantime, we've got a couple more gateways coming down for WhiteRa at this third, trying to secure this area. Once again, playing quite greedy, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to put on some pressure.
Yeah, the thing is, though, this Warp Prism is going to get immediately shut down by Mutalisk, unfortunately. And Mutalisk are coming out to be one of the most favorable options for Zerg against Protoss recently, and especially against WhiteRa, who uses Warp Prisms with 4 Zealots and then a 4 Zealot Warp in a total 8 Zealots will get shut down. But unfortunately for Rhett, the Mutalisks are in the center of the map going to harass as this Warp Prism comes in.
Yeah, keep an eye on that minimap and see if they decide to turn around. Warp Prism coming in there already almost to the base now, and here's that warp in. A lot of Zealots in that mineral line. There's a couple of Mutalisks, not quite enough to deal real damage here, and WhiteRa significantly disrupting the mining, but in the meantime, the Mutalisks have also done exactly the same thing to him.
Yeah, they've actually killed 9 probes already, and right now, because of this very early third, WhiteRa is very spread out, and not only spread out, that he went down robotics facility units as well. So he has an Immortals out and sentries unguarded. Well, oh, Red is just tearing apart this spread out WhiteRa right now, and it's going to be very hard for WhiteRa to tech switch to deal with this. He has to get Blink out. He may even decide to get a Stargate out to help.
Yeah, I just want to point out that what should be, as far as I'm concerned, absolutely impossible, but ended up happening anyway. WhiteRa killed no workers in that attack. Not a single drone.
Not a single drone, and
not a drone.
He's not looking too good right now as Rhett continues to build Mutalisks. He's got Lings as well. He's taken an early 4th base as well on the top right, and Rhett is just playing and controlling this game. And to be honest, I personally feel, and a lot of other Protoss players feel too, that you cannot physically deal with Mutalisks until you get Stargates out or Stargate units. Because what Mutalisk allows you and gives you is the ability to pick off Stalkers so easily in probes, but map control and the ability to tech wherever you want to go.
Yeah, dealing with mass Mutalisk right now is just a nightmare for a lot of Protoss, and it's quite obvious, as you're seeing here, why, especially if you decide to get that greedy and take your early third. There's nothing that WhiteRa can really do to hold these off. He's losing huge numbers of probes, and there's the GG straight away. Really well executed there by Rhett, and unfortunately, WhiteRa wasn't able to do much about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of almost a counter to what WhiteRa was doing. With the Warp Prism, with the Immortal, it was useless. He was kind of expecting a more Roach Ling heavy style going into Infestors as well, because the way that Rhett usually likes to play is Roach Ling heavy. He hasn't really adopted the Mutalisk play into recent tournament cycles either.
No, he hasn't. Protoss are struggling really, really hard. Yes, cheerfuls are in the crowd. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that nobody can see on stream, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's sad. We need to get the cameraman out here to show that. I'm sure it can happen at some point. But you know, how do you deal with that? Really, how do you deal with that?
What, the crowd signs or Mutalisk?
Well, how do you deal with the crowd signs? Yes, that's exactly what I was asking. Thank you. That's why I brought you here, man. That's why I brought you here.
Yeah.
How do you deal with Mutalisks, Apollo?
The best way, like I said, is Stargate. You have to start producing Phoenixes. And Nurture was actually going through a destroying wreckage of using Mutalisk game in, game out, and beating everybody. And the only way you could actually deal with it was going mass Phoenixes. In ESWC, for all the Protoss players over there that Todd and Bling that actually played Nurture, everybody went Stargate. Grubby, who has now got his thumb on top of Nurture for the last 2 tournaments in a row.
Yes, he has.
Goes to Stargate every game against him and directly counters that Mutalisk control.
Yep, that's going to have to happen if that mass Muta style continues here for Rhett. But we will find out in Game 2 that's coming up right after these messages from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere.